Okay, welcome to our latest Swampcast. We're going to preview the Florida game against Vanderbilt. Of course, Nashville, one of our favorite trips, Robbie. But we've talked about it. This game, it's the first sellout since 2008 for Vanderbilt, which was, of course, Florida as well. My theory is that there's a lot of Gator fans that have bought some of those tickets.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think this is a trip that Florida fans love to make. It's the one city in the SEC, a lot of good places to go out to eat and drink and all that. So I think it's a lot of Gator fans bought up tickets. But Vanderbilt's fired up and they're excited. It's a trap game.
They just beat Missouri, and of course, I was telling Robbie I watched the replay of the game last night, and I wasn't impressed, but at the same time, you got to bring it. And what Florida's got to do is they've got to go out there and just execute and not turn the ball over.
Yeah. And Pat, this is a Florida team that Vanderbilt had on the ropes a year ago.
Right.
They could have won the game in the Swamp, but this is a much better Florida team. Much more complete, much more tougher physically, mentally. So I think they're going to be able to handle this and do well there.
Well, and that's what I wrote for Saturday. I think you'll find out how mentally tough they are if they go out there and take care of business. And again, for Florida fans, if you win the game 14-6 again, be happy.
Take it.
Who
cares?
It
and get out. Yeah, and then you don't play outside the state of Florida again the rest of the year.
Exactly. So
unless you get to Atlanta, then you gladly leave the state.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the last trip for us too. I mean, we're Jacksonville and Tallahassee after this, but I think with this team, it's like Will can talk all he wants about how one game's not more important than the other, and then you see him diving into a pile of players after the LSU when you know what that win meant to them, and there's going to be a tough transition of turning it back on.
Yeah, and now you're on the road. Vanderbilt's not a tough place to play, but it is the road. It's different. You're staying in a hotel and out of town, so it's different, and the crowd's going to be jacked early in the game, and I'm sure some things will go wrong early, and they're going to have to fight back to get the momentum back. So
imagine
just the way it goes on the road.
Yeah, imagine the west side of the Swamp. That's basically because they only seat 40,000 even when it's sold out.
Yeah,
but it is a rinky-dink stadium. We've been through it many times. The bottom line is they're not athletically as good as Florida. And I don't think we have really an idea of how good or bad Vanderbilt is.
Yeah.
We saw them at their worst in Athens.
Oh, yeah.
We saw them play South Carolina really close. Again, it's opening day. It's a Thursday night. And then we watched them beat Missouri, which isn't very good either. Yeah. So I don't really have a feel for Vandy. We have a better feel for Florida. But I think more than anything, you've got to be careful in this game.
And my feel for Florida, Pat, is they have to play well to win.
Right.
They can't go out and mess around and just physically beat teams. They need to play well to win, and that's the bottom line with this team. And Will knew that early in the year, and that's the way it's playing out.
Well, one thing that has always happened when they played Vandy, especially it seems like up there, is special teams stand out.
Yeah.
And one thing about this team, you take the kickers out of it. This is one of the worst special teams Florida's ever had. I mean, in forever. They never run back punts. They never run back kicks. They don't block kicks.
There's been nothing in that regard. You're right.
Nothing.
The two kickers are great, but other than that, nothing's happening.
And so I think you'd like to see something like that happen for the rest, because you're going to have to make something happen in the Georgia, South Carolina, FSU games outside of the norm.
You need all three phases working. Right now they've got two going and two really good kickers, but you're right, no return game at all.
And the same special teams coordinator, the same guy running back kicks. Maybe there was some secret blocker we didn't know about.
The kickoff rule was taking the bows out and
a little bit, a little bit, but he's getting some return.
You're right, there's nothing there.
And he goes nowhere, and the punt game is just a disaster right now, the punt return game.
Tom Sanders is caught the fair catches him, there's nobody near him. The Bows let the ball drop in front of them and roll 20 yards. You can't do that. You need to make better decisions on that.
They've got to figure that part of it out, and maybe this will be the week they do. The bottom line is they need to go get this win, and then you're halfway through the season, you're undefeated. And I think that would be I don't think any of us had Florida 6-0. But that would be quite a feather in Will Muschamp's cap. But again, neither one of us are saying, "Oh, this game, don't worry about it."
Well, I'm saying worry about it. The upset alone is out.
Right. So. And as I point out in the column, Robbie, all you got to do is look 2 hours to the west to find out what happens when you don't show up on the road.
Yeah.
To FSU losing NC State.
If that team can lose to North Carolina State, Florida can lose to Vanderbilt. That's the bottom line.
Absolutely. And I think Vandy winning last week probably got their attention as well.
I think it did too.
So we'll see what happens. The next time we come to you, we'll be live at Vanderbilt Stadium at Dudley Field. Is that what it's called?
Field, yes.
Yeah. We're looking forward to getting up there. They've changed the north end zone there a little bit.
I've heard,
so we'll see what that looks like. And, of course, look forward to going to Nashville as well. We'll be bringing you the aftermath of it from there, from Nashville.
On the field with lawnmowers going, I'm sure.
With blowers and everything else after the game, and look forward to it. Until then, Robbie Andrew and Pat Dooley of the Gainesville Sun saying so long from the Sunshine State.